This heart doesn't make me a robot any more than Mom's gun makes you a soldier, Bulb.
I didn't know.
Because you weren't there.
Sam, you've got to come quick.
What is it?
It's in the manhole, right under our feet. A big bomb. Big enough to wipe American Lane off the map.
Don't think that means you're off the hexing hook, Bulb. Let's go.
Next week, the riveting season finale to the smash hit of the year, Ever's After. The stakes are high, and so is the star power with a special guest appearance by acclaimed actor and entrepreneur Blaine Tingles. In the war, our people were terrified of the trench grease, but those stupid clowns on the other side were loving it. Before the end, I loved it too. Loved it so much, I gave my heart. I made everything around me bleed, and now it's happening all over again.
Always knew you had a good heart, Sam.
Hurry, help me remove the core.
It's stuck.
Did you just kiss me? I get it. I'm not the Lane's perfect soldier. Maybe I never was. Maybe I never could be. But look at what I am. A girl with a gun trying to shoot a little straighter.
Ever, I taught you everything you know about the game called Tarantula. Hold too tight and you drop the ball. You know that. I think you dropped your mother's rifle a long time ago. Now the war is over and you're holding on tight to that memory. Maybe it's time to drop it. The war is in the past. The question is, who is ever after?
Sam, you have to know, I never meant it to come to this. I just wanted my damn block back. They said if I didn't do this, we'd all die.
You're afraid to die? After this, you will never be able to look in the mirror and see yourself alive. You killed everything that was left of the Guri I knew. Sure, I changed my heart for metal, but you swapped yours for gold. Goodbye, Guri. This is the way I live.
That was the nominated show, Ever's After. Next up, has your crumpet got all crusty? Has your cuddling got less than aggressive? When your ins are mostly outs, Radiation Ships is now on WSPN. The Spoon.
Plugging this one in for all the chromies out there. Dusties, laymates, and Sanagrams, settlers and survivors, to all you radheads out there in all Radiation Nation, this is an emergency broadcast to your heart. Further instructions incoming. We are live from our EBS compound, an undisclosed location deep in the lines of the Sadlands. Our hearts are pure, backs strong, and eyes shielded from the glare of the bone waste. I'm host Rad Flink, and with me, the Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Radiation Show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have something very special for you, a very special word from a brand new sponsor that me and the Professor are extremely excited about. Before we do, I'd just like to share a few words with you.
Okay.
We have a new sponsor here. This isn't the one I was speaking about before, but it is a new sponsor. Let me get the copy here. I'm very proud to introduce this wonderful product. We've known about them for years. I grew up with them. My father swore by them, and so did my grandfather and his grandfather. I'm very excited to bring this to you. We couldn't get enough of this at my house, and we can't get enough of this here at the bunker. We stockpile it because we never want to run out of this. Even today, here in the bunker with the Professor, we keep a tube within arm's reach at all times. I remember Grandma sitting me on her knee when I was a child and telling me, tree shops ready, Ritz. Tree shops ensures you're always ready for excellence.
Always.
And speaking of that, Oxy Extreme, X Plus Oxy Extreme for fires, silico, nitro, hydrogen, and ultra perfect ultratanium, bound in here from the mane to the kimono dragon and guaranteed to light every time. Manufactured by precise machinations, you can feel the quality every time you strike a match. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not get any better than this. No. This is 100% 5 gold stars, 6 gold stars. Tell you what, I'll give it an extra gold star.
All natural.
Hi, I'm Rad, and I'd like to tell you about Piles. They've got piles of piles for you to choose from. Buy a bunch and save a bundle. What do you need? What do you want? What are you willing to sacrifice? Piles is a specialty outlet, and it doesn't get any specialer than this. Let me tell you, this is absolutely one of the most special outlets you'll ever find. Outlets, inlets, all piles, only piles, any piles, every piles, Ancho Piles. If you haven't heard of it, you're missing out on everything. They guarantee it. Like Paul says, that's Paul from Paul's Piles. If you haven't met this guy, let me tell you, this guy is amazing. We went out, well, we didn't go out, but we had a short call with him. He was having drinks. We were having drinks. So it was kind of like we went out for drinks.
He's a mensch.
He is absolutely real salt of the earth, real, like, just a real live person.
He is real and alive.
Like Paul says, Paul says, I can barely believe in these deals. Pile on the savings at Piles inside the Westgate warehouse, just off Highway 96. Now that reminds me of something else. I believe we had pancakes the other day for breakfast. You know what we used for that? Blue Burrow all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour. It's for baking, making, taking, shaking, raking. Finest ground mix possible, ground to the quality, to the atomic level. This flour's quantum properties make anything possible. Scones, tarts, alternative tarts, mincemeat pies, random number generators. Blue Burrow all-purpose flour. And, Professor, it's not the confluence anymore. Isn't it time you started trusting yourself? Why should only men be able to buy Tree Sops Ready Rinse? It just doesn't make sense. Trust your inner voice. Trust your instincts. Trust your intuition. Trust your lady feelings. When you need a change, when you need confidence, you're an all grown up full lady now. You got to check all the boxes.
So pretty.
Chart whatever your impulses dictate.
You are so pretty.
And make it Tree Sops.
Tree Sops.
So now on to, we have a brand new sponsor. We're very excited. This is the first time this has ever happened. We have a recording to share with you. I won't be reading the copy for the first time in over 500 episodes. So, Caden, if you could roll that tape right now, I'd just like to present to you a new sponsor straight from the horse's mouth. They aren't horses.
Have you been fooled by the huge prices and even more enormous claims of Big Dildo? Hi, I'm Remy Gemini with Regeni, an industry leader in stimulation regeneration. We're the only name in reclaimed marital aid wholesalers, and now we're bringing our expertise and expertise-associated savings directly to you. There are thousands of dearly departed no longer in need of their well-loved and time-tested tank twisters. Our detailers repurpose these goodies and make them good as new. Almost new. Uncannily similar to the plot of Toy Story 3, now playing in the Sitar Light Drive-In. This movie is all about the passing of toys to a new generation, a heartwarming coming-of-age toy tale. And you'll be coming hard too, once a toy sale is warming your tail. Flogs, 3 for $12. Paddles, 9 for $6. Crops, 2 by 2. Our treasures come directly to you by delivery drone. All you have to do is sign the delivery drone liability assessment and acknowledgement. These are not sex drones, and you have to sign the acknowledgement. Please don't assault our drones, and please don't assault our drones. Read, Jenny. It's like we say about our speculums. If you can't use these toys at their worst, you don't deserve them at their best.
Wow, that was really something special.
So special.
Absolutely. And I think this company is providing a real service that people need.
The servicing service.
Yes. Yeah. Because there's so much waste out there. There's so much just people throw these things aside and don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Professor, wouldn't you agree? I mean, back me up here.
Absolutely. I think that sometimes, when in the course of human events, you encounter something so deeply useful to yourself, it's important to not discard those things. And if you do discard them, it's of vital importance for someone else to pick them up, give them a rinse, and a second life.
Absolutely, yeah. And so Regeni again. Is this absolutely groundbreaking company? They will deliver to your door.
Yeah.
They will deliver to your hole. They will deliver to your cave, castle, whatever you live in. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care if you live in Aboriginal times or whenever.
Yeah. My favorite restaurant.
Yeah. It's absolutely a great restaurant. But regardless, I think these people are really doing a service. and their use of drones, brings up some interesting points from last episode when it was all about drones, and that's all we talked about was just about drones.
Yeah,
and there was nothing else that happened. We just talked about drones.
That's all. But sometimes that's all you need.
It's true. It's true. And it's a fascinating topic. One that's fascinated me for a long time personally. And I think maybe we should, explore this subject a little bit further. It's not one we talked about a lot. We've talked about interpersonal relationships. We haven't talked about personal robot-person relationships that much. So, if any of you out there, you have anything to say on this subject, you have anything to add about the drone talk from last episode, don't hesitate to call in. And let's go ahead and get those phones lit up and call her on the line.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hello, male or other genders. Are you looking for some real full intercourse? As a new dual-capacity sex drone/sandwich drone, I am fully functional, using the regular number of touches and pinches. If you call me, you can tell me what this is and what it does. So bad. You better not bite unless you want all my good times mouthful. Can I tell you a secret? Dial So Lady Yao 3 and we can get in the kitchen and get down to business. Also for sex talk. Dial So Lady Yao 3 so we can make it all warm and gooey.
Let your receiver dish run away with us on WSPN, The Spoon.
I mean, it's a precarious position in which she finds herself, but I think with some persnickety grit, she will find her way out. We're going to go ahead and take another caller. I want to thank the fine folks of Regeni once again. The service they provide to the general public is invaluable, and they've also shown great kindness to us. In exchange for airing their information on our program, they've provided Rad and I some wonderful perks. They provided us with a new drone. They gave us a little bit of money, and they actually shipped us a box of their pre-loved marital aids. And I think that's really, it shows the wealth of a person's goodness when they're willing to give you their aids.
And I'm actually absolutely shocked by the wealth and variety of these marital aids that they've provided. I mean, this is just an enormous box. It's bigger than we can carry, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, together we can pick it up, but I mean, it's what? 6x6 or so.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, very, this is a large box, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's teamwork, Sometimes you just need a couple of strong men to take care of a box.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Welcome to Radiation Ships. How can we service you?
Oh, hi. It's so good to talk to y'all. Thank you so much for taking my call. I heard what you said about just wanting to hear some, the whole sex drone thing and how, that relates to us now, the way I just wanted to come out very firmly against it.
Yeah.
I know that it's hard to abstain from sex drones because I certainly am finding that I miss, how things were before. When a man would put on a button-up shirt and just take me to whatever nice restaurant, be it an Applebee's or Chili's or Shoney's, and he would just buy me this beautiful salad, and then he would just sit there expectantly waiting for me to give him a sign, that sort of nervousness that I felt about how things were going to go.
Absolutely.
Even if it was the kind of thing where you spend 3 hours sort of pretending to care about each other just so your friends don't have to feel like they've done a bad job matching
No, man. We know what that's like for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just kind of feel like maybe now the best that I can do, I can just maybe hope to find a person who will be so intrigued by my desperate need for medical attention that he will just, be sort of energized and want to take me on as a project, I feel like that's really all I have going for me, but along comes this sex drone, who got all the parts that I got, but with a lot less sepsis when
Right.
you think about it.
Yeah.
And so
Right. So I mean, playing doctor. That's classic, like role play thing, right? That's what she's
absolutely.
going at, I think.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, your willingness to expose yourself to new things, even the things you don't agree with, is admirable. Like you said yourself, sometimes you just have to come up against something and raise your voice and say it's not right, but I'm going to do this anyway. And I appreciate that. I think if more people were willing to engage in a variety of intimate acts with things that they despise, like you do, the world would be happier and closer. So kudos to you and this relationship with your Shoney's sex drone, if I heard you correctly.
Oh, well, actually, what I mean to say is that I have not yet engaged with a sex drone because I don't feel that that's right. I know that that is an option for me.
You're a tease.
But I was not trying to be that way because I don't believe that that is right to suggest you are offering something but then retract it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did the sex drone buy you a salad or not?
Well, I have not yet engaged because I feel like the sex drone is not like a God-made creature, which is what I am, and I believe that God-made creatures should interact with other God-made creatures when it comes to intimacy. And so I have to say that I would probably more readily engage with, for instance, the raccoon that is currently in my bunker with me because he is a God-made creature. And there are other God-made things available to me, such as the occasional smooth stone or like a sort of worn away tree branch if there's not much bark on it due to the chemicals in the air. Some of it's very exfoliative, so you get a rather smoother branch. And even a smoother branch is a God-made creature, whereas though I don't know exactly what a sex drone is made of, I just assume a sort of buoyant metal, and I think that people have made those, and so I don't believe it's correct for me to engage with that at this time.
I'm pretty sure sex drones are primarily made out of science. But to your point, I think you might be right. They're not technically God-made. Second-hand God-made, maybe?
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way.
Divinity adjacent.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is I just don't have moisture settings, and so I'm feeling very inferior, and I'm feeling that even anyone coming my way and saying, you know, maybe me and you and the raccoon can share an affectionate evening, I'm just thinking that's not going to happen when there are these sex drones just awash.
Just swooping in.
The drones are taking our blowjobs. It used to be all I had to offer was some kind of like residual hydration to just remind a man's parts of a sort of more vital, like moist time. And I'm sure that we all know that like one of the main things of the confluence is like it is desiccation, right, left, north, south, east, west, just dry. And I feel that is my mouth is like a desert scape. My cervix is a dried up weed just sort of blowing in the wind of my vagina's new desert scape.
Tumbleweed,
and
sure.
I just don't feel like I'm really gonna have much of a chance.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. Can you I mean, do you think I'm wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think this shines something, maybe a light on something that we saw maybe a glimmering of last episode. We saw the hint of this. We saw a warning sign, a warning shot fired over the bow.
Yeah.
With that aggression. You remember the aggression from those drones?
I do.
At the time we mentioned it. We talked about it. But I think there's more to it than that. These drones...
It was a sinister tenacity.
Yeah, absolutely. These drones, they're coming in and they're saying, we're like humans, but better.
Yeah.
We're better than you. These drones, do you believe that, Professor? Because that's what it sounds like. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing she's saying. So these drones are they're swooping in. They're trying to be better humans than we can be.
Yeah.
And it's not right This caller is absolutely right, 100% right.
Absolutely. I believe, though, it's an issue of framing. There are two different ways that you can receive a threat. You can receive a threat as a danger, an expression of danger to yourself, or you can receive a threat as a challenge. You know, if a mechanical automaton claims to be better than you, you can run scared, you can be afraid, you can be angry, or you can rise to the challenge. You can say, you think you have moisture settings. Wait till you get a load of me. Have you tried being more moist? Have you tried, to compensate for your bodily dryness? There are lotions, there are creams. You can try a poultice. There are a number of different things that you can ingest to raise the moisture level of your body. We don't normally do advertising for our callers mid-call, but we do have a large listenership. They're already getting a taste of your untapped potential. Maybe we could talk off air. Rad is our advertising specialist. Maybe the two of you could work out a deal for a small donation, a small amount of recompensation. He could write you an advertisement. Maybe a couple of times a year, we could tell people what you're up to and how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love that.
It's not expensive. It's easy to get into. You can start low. It's time based, and we don't ask for much. We just ask for what it takes to keep this show running. Mm-hmm. This show is for you, listeners out there. It's we don't do this for us. This is a service that we provide to great listeners like our caller here. Thank you very much, caller. We'll take the rest of this off the air. Get some details on you, ladies and gentlemen, listeners out there. You can expect, I believe, you can expect an ad for that young lady very soon. So keep those ears parked.
That could be really useful for her, for us, for the listeners. Mostly for us. I bet she's got great cans.
She may. Could be wet dog food. Who knows?
I mean, cans are cans.
All right. Well, some disturbing news about drones. Ladies and gentlemen, we knew they weren't like us.
We did. We thought that was a benefit.
Yeah, well, we thought they were.
It might still be a benefit.
They were friends. They were friendly. They were made by us, for us. They were.
It's still rather appealing to me.
They were made,
personally speaking,
to fill holes in our lives and jobs and tasks that we couldn't take care of ourselves.
With massage settings.
And it's possible there's more to this than they've let on.
God, I hope so.
And now a word from our sponsor on WSPN, The Spoon.
I bet you can't even handle this, the game called Tarantula Spring Preseason. You wuss! You'll cheat your Cheetos when the sweet potato new fries go head-to-head with their eventual enemy Gildorg the Pepsis. Next, Cheap Cherie takes on all challengers in the 5-month Grumbly match. Then mandatory ceremonial soaping and scrubbing of the arena. Crybabies like you use the game called Tarantula ticket code Spoon Alpha Delta Spoon Chirpy Chirpy. All of this and more of this. This season is more exciting than $1 million. Don't miss the nastiest beats, the slipperiest balls, the longest gloves, all the unflinching dangling action. The game called Tarantula. Be there or you're scared.
Are those silver crowns in your teeth, or are you just happy to hear us? On WSPN, The Spoon.
Listeners, we apologize for the short break there. We've just been contacted by noted drone apologists, noted drone supporters, Regenny, notifying us that due to my reading of some commercials earlier, as well as some comments that we've made about drones, that they are taking that crate back of the reclaimed marital aids that they so generously initially gave us, but it makes you wonder about their motives, about what they're actually in for here. And well, we can deal with this another time. Again, we don't talk about personal things here, and I would say the business behind the curtain is as personal as anything we get into on this show. So let's go ahead and take another caller. We can definitely deal with this. Professor and I can take care of this issue after the show.
Yeah.
Caller, what's your name? What's wrong with you?
Hi, my name is Trent McGilly. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with me, but I do want to say that I have gotten a lot out of your show. Before I found you guys, I was actually listening to some old recordings I had of the large, toothy-mouthed self-help guru Toomey Roarpins, who I initially found very inspiring. I ended up sort of having a falling away from those recordings because I felt that his voice sounded, in a word, just so well fed that I could not connect to where he was coming from. It was a place that I couldn't identify with. But I have to say that I'm so happy that I found your show. I know you don't talk about personal things on the show, but I do feel your light is not shining in vain, is really the first thing that I wanted to say to you. I guess my question beyond that is, well, I was really interested in the issue of sex drones. I remembered an earlier episode I heard with a sandwich drone who wanted to be a sex drone, and I don't know if this is appropriate, but I was just wondering if you ever gave listeners the contact information of other callers, because while I haven't so far really engaged with the sex drones, because I feel that what I'm in search of is more of a connective, vulnerable and intimate experience rather than just a sort of performative, physical, ticking off the boxes of sexual gratification.
Sure.
I thought that sandwich drone, because she wasn't yet a sex drone, I felt a kind of vulnerability and a longing that perhaps matched my own, and I really felt that I would like to meet her and just talk. I'm not even saying that I have a particular agenda, but I was wondering if you ever would consider just putting us in touch.
Okay, well, first of all, let me say off the top, thank you very much for the kind words. This show is absolutely for you listeners. It's for you. And while we don't talk about personal things, when we say that on air, I just probably need to clear the air on this, because I do say that a lot, and I do mean it. But when I say it, what I mean is the professor and I are not here to hash out our personal feelings, our personal opinions, our personal agendas, because we do have them. You may or may not believe that we do, but we do. And every day we come out here, and what we do is we provide you with cold hard facts and real, scientifically proven,
time-tested methodologies.
Exactly. Thank you, Professor. They're time-tested. They are well-known. I mean, this is common sense stuff. Most of the time, all people really have to do is just sit down and think about it. But it has to be said, I'm not calling any of our listeners or any of our callers especially. I'm not saying they don't have common sense. I'm just saying sometimes it's hard to see the common sense in your own situation. It's hard to see.
That's very true.
It's hard to see yourself where you're sitting.
Yeah. Well, particularly with the prevalence of bad teachings, of emotional quackery from the likes of Toomey Roarpins. Like all doctors, he is mostly drivel, and anything he says that does make sense, he has stolen quite clearly from the writings of Jaden Smith. So I'm pleased that you have ripped yourself away from his feel-goodery.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to have these fuzzy, nice feelings that sort of, they cheer you up, they make you feel good inside, but they don't take you anywhere.
No.
They don't send you out on a mission to go crush something.
Yeah. Well, and emotions are a lot like physical attributes. Emotions can be susceptible to wear and tear. They can stretch. They can prolapse. And I think that's what you were touching on. You know that there are more experienced robots out there, but what you want is somebody new, somebody who is less stretched and damaged. Instead of coupling yourself with someone who is just worn out and tired and creating the feeling like you're just throwing a hard drive down a hallway, you want something more emotionally taut.
Now, I will have to warn you here. These drones, they can really do a number on you.
Both 1 and 2.
They can really make you feel like,
depending on your preferences, less
of a person. And you have to be careful when you're interacting with them, because you may get yourself into a situation where this drone is sort of taking over the things that you would normally be doing and is trying to replace you in a sense. So do be careful with any sort of interaction with drones. I feel like I got to warn you about that right off the top.
Oh, well, actually, I did want to ask a question. It's just sort of a rumor that I had heard, but it's really been causing me quite a bit of anxiety and maybe even sort of spilling over into the kind of, paranoia or obsession.
Sure.
I'm having a hard time.
That's what we're here for.
I had heard that it was possible that if you were to engage with a sex drone, let's say like a quote-unquote male sex drone, I heard that there are sort of detection settings on the insertion portion of that drone that they can sense when I, as a female, might still have fertility capabilities. And it just so happens I'm definitely not saying that I am better than anyone else, because this is just a matter of chance, but I do still have fertility capabilities. And I've heard that if a drone is to detect that you still have those fertility capabilities, they might actually record your coordinates and then transmit that information to other fertile human males in the area. And then I just might have some visitors that I'm not really, ready for. It's not that I would never like to have human male visitors ever again, but just truthfully, I haven't yet decided if I want to engage in the whole incubation and production of the future, watching what my mother went through. She had incubated and produced actually 5 of us. I'm the oldest. And, before we came along, she was the kind of woman, she wore the peak fashion of the day. And then as soon as she had begun to engage in the incubation production, it was just turtlenecks underneath sweatshirts, sweatshirts tucked into woolen socks, and I never saw her in anything else ever again. And I think that her thyroid just went really out of whack with all the hormones ups and downs. And I feel that, I know that we don't have as many clothing options these days. I just haven't decided what's right for me. And so I know that if there are fertile men, sort of banging down my door saying, hey, you have a responsibility. Oh, don't you want the human race to continue? Or you just really into drones now. You just think drones are important. You think drones have feelings too, or whatever. You're a human, they might say to me. Don't forget who you are and who you came from. I might not be in an emotional position of fortitude to handle that.
There's 2 different issues there. One, there's the issue with the drones. Yeah. And whether they can be trusted. No.
Right.
And then there's the other issue, the sort of interpersonal issue that you're asking about. And speaking to the drone question specifically, I can't say nay or yay. I can only tell you what people have said and what we've heard, and I would be wary. And that's all I'm going to say. Yeah. I'm not going to say they will track you, but I'm sure it's been said before.
Well.
So one of the things I did want to get into with the relationship issues, I think it's important to sort of focus here on what you're wanting, because you're obviously very worried about sort of how you're coming across to other human beings. And I would have something to say to that. Something that I've always believed, before you can really have a relationship with anybody else, you have to learn to make a relationship about yourself. Because until you know how that's going to work internally, you're not going to be able to do it with anybody else.
It's true.
So the first thing you have to know about in any relationship is yourself. It's about you.
At the same time, that self-importance can fall victim to what I'm hearing is just a lot of selfishness on your end. I want that sandwich drone's number. I had a mother. I'm human. I don't think that people should know my fertility status. That is true, by the way. Just to address a couple of things that you said, fertility beacons are real. We receive flyers at the bunker all the time. Fertile women in your area, act now. The thyroid, however, is a myth, so I wouldn't worry about that at all. But back to your selfishness, I think it's important for you to stop resisting. Just stop resisting. If somebody gives you a good offer, take a good offer. Because if you don't accept the good things that the universe gives you, then what are you doing with your time?
Well, that's a really good point, and I guess if I could just reframe this a little bit, I was sort of hoping that you all might be able to help the universe offer me something that I could say yes to the offering of the universe, which you all had facilitated, which would be possibly a sandwich drone showing up at my door. And I sort of had a further ethics question about that, which, Professor, this might be exactly, up your alley in terms of, being able to provide some guidance. But if I do invite a sandwich drone to my apartment and I say, I heard you make really good sandwiches, but I don't specifically mention that I sort of have this extra intel that she might be interested in being a sex drone, but I just say, oh, come over, I would love to have a sandwich. And then when she's there, I try to make it a safe and welcoming place for me to say, I heard you might want to explore some things sexually, and then if she's on board for the sort of transition into sex drone, I would say that maybe the ultimate goal that I see the universe having for me is being able to encourage a conversion from sex drone, nascent sex drone, really into an intimacy model. I mean, just, is that, I guess, could anyone have anything bad to say about me?
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing you gotta worry about there is intimacy with a drone. I mean, that just seems dangerous. And not to mention you're inviting them to their house. I mean, if you're gonna do that, if you're insistent on following through with this, I mean, at least, rent a hotel room, find a neutral third-party place to meet, like a busy restaurant or something similar, to get yourself out of danger, out of harm's way. Professor, did you have anything to add? The ethics question, I believe, was more your. Is that ethical?
Well, your suggestions for setting an ambiance, I think, are very important. To the ethics of the situation, I think it depends on the model of sandwich robot. If you have a 4.2, they come with a consent module. In that situation, you would need to make your desires clear and allow the sandwich robot to make his or her own decision. If it's a 4.0 model, they don't have the consent module, so have fun. Do what you want.
I just want to say again what a blessing you guys are. And, the fact that WSPN has started broadcasting you, I think it just really shows that they recognize talent when they hear it, and they want to make that.
I think we may be getting a little cross wires here. We broadcast this ourselves to the Sadlands, independent broadcast. Yeah. We serve Pala and the surrounding areas in the Sadlands, in the Boneways. We are the only show in town, so to speak.
I mean, if that's what your narrative is right now, and if that is what feels right for you to engender and move forward in that space, then I just want to say yes to that, and I want to encourage that, and I don't feel like speaking anymore in a way that might challenge that. And even if my understanding of reality and the fact that WSPN is in fact the sweet angel that brought you to my ears, if that's my reality, I don't want that to I don't want that to dim your glow.
WSPN? What's a WSPN?
Are you speaking of the double S-pin from the trans dead culture?
I'm feeling that we are sort of operating under different narrative spheres, and I'm feeling uncomfortable sort of chafing as those two narrative spheres appear to be just sort of kind of compatibility seems to...
What was this WSPN? We steal property now? Is that what this is? Is that what this is? Rebroadcasting us without our consent? I'm not finding any mail. I'm not seeing any agreements. Did you sign anything? Because I don't sign anything.
I feel so violated right now.
Absolutely.
I feel so violated.
I
have a consent module. It's called my heart, and they didn't consult it.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Very grateful. Namaste.
Sure, whatever.
WSPN. What?
I don't. I don't. I mean, can we even trust that woman? She's clearly a narcissist. She's like, I feel peace. I can move forward. I don't want to be an impediment. I mean, she's clearly so wrapped up in herself. Can we trust her perception of the reality around her?
Caden, is there anything hooked up into the tower or anything else that would be would allow rebroadcast? How would that even work? How would somebody come in here?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are there microphones? Are there microphones in that court? Is that a microphone?
Is that like?
Hang on a second. Is that a microphone?
I think that's a microphone.
Is that?
What is? Oh my God.
What is?
I don't.
Is that a microphone?
I don't know how you would do this technologically.
It's
I don't know how you would
impossible.
do this in good conscience. I don't.
Nothing. All right. Pull up the security feed. Any red lights on that? Any?
Listeners, we're going to have to get back to you. There are pressing matters at hand. Bye.
Look, WSPN, we are on to you. I need you to know we are on to you. And we take no prisoners. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Radiation Ship. I'm Rat Flink. With me, the professor. Don't come looking for us.
We may come looking for you.